You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are doing well. It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Hope everybody's doing good. Know it's been a while, y'all. I've had so much going on my plate, and I basically had to start all over and revamp, redo a lot of things due to the fact that my computer had gone out. I was having some difficulties with my audio. And listen, unless you got a large subscriber base, you have to pretty much foot the bill on everything, when it comes to, being a content creator. And I get it. This is what I signed up for, but nevertheless, it's a lot of kinks I had to get worked out, y'all. So I'm basically rebuilding and starting from scratch. Had to update my PC, had to update my mic, y'all. So it's been one thing after another. So welcome to the new improved Cafe de Paris Renaissance, because I see this as a renewal. I see this as a revision. Basically, we're just refreshing. We're just um picking up from where we left off, off to a fresh start. So nevertheless, y'all, I appreciate y'all for still being supportive, still being loyal, still being so patient with me. And again, I appreciate each and every one of you, all of my A ones from day ones, all of my guys who have been rocking with Mocha from the very beginning when I started this journey. I am so grateful for each and every one of you guys, who still hang out in the chat. You still, show me love. So big ups to all my male subscribers. And of course, I'm going to always have love for my sisters. I appreciate y'all as well. I also have my second channel, y'all, if y'all want a space in which only the women congregate. Mocha's Ladies Lounge. That is my second channel specifically for the ladies. But this is my original channel where I started my fan base, and I have to continue to definitely keep showing love and engaging with all of my subscribers on this channel, because this is the channel that originally gave me the pathway before I even started Mocha's Ladies Lounge. So again, big ups to all my A1s from day ones. I appreciate my male subscribers. Appreciate all my sisters for still rocking with me and being loyal with me. And again, I'm grateful, and this is the new improved Cafe de Paris Renaissance. If you haven't, please go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to at least be uploading once a week. I'm not sure what day, so to be on the safe side, y'all, just subscribe. That way, whenever I upload or put some new material up, you'll be the first to be in on the loop. So anyway, y'all, let me get into this right away, because I've already have a lot of lost time that I have to make up for. So big ups to everybody in my chat room, to Mocha's Mod Squad, anybody with the wrenches holding it down in the chat. You have free will to use your discernment and terminate any parasites that try to come into the chat room and contaminate the vibe. Nevertheless, y'all. So welcome to Cafe de Paris Renaissance. Hit that like button, because y'all know I'm going to always deliver. And you're not obligated, but you're welcome to donate to my Cash App, $DymondGyrl. I'd rather my donations go to my Cash App, because when you do the super chats, it takes forever for them to give us just like $5. And it's just ridiculous, right? But anyway, y'all get my drift. For those who can't donate, just hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe. And that's even more awesome. Okay, so let's get into this, y'all. I know y'all been hearing what's been going on with the food stamp rant. It was only a matter of time. Oh, listen, we have the food stamp feminists. They are losing it. The assistance avengers, they fighting hard for benefits, but not for betterment. We got the benefit bells, look cute while blaming the system that feeds them. This is the entitlement era, okay, in which so many women that seems as if they were entitled to these benefits, and not understanding that it's called governmental assistance for a reason. It's for the government to assist or provide service to individuals who are in need. The problem when it comes to welfare and when it comes to EPT, it's not the getting assistance, it's the fact that a lot of people, a lot of women have become very codependent on the system. And I'm not going to sit up here in front and act like I never had got stamps, like I never been in a struggle, because the truth is I did receive stamps, and the truth is I did live in governmental housing. But I made it a stepping stone. I knew there was no way I wanted to raise 3, 4 generations in the projects or in low subsidizing housing. Okay, let's face it. We know some people who are 5 generations in and living in low income housing. They great grandmama lived in housing, then they great grandmama, then they grandmama, then they mama. Now they living off the system. Now they children living off the system, and it's just been a generational pattern of Black women becoming very codependent on the system. Now I'm not going to say that it's only Black women, because as we all know, a lot of these snow bunnies, you know what I mean, they ain't been. We're not going to act like, they have all these standards in which they never needed governmental assistance, because the truth is a lot of these snow bunnies, they've been codependent on the system just as much as Black women, if not just as much more in many instances. But they're very rarely are they addressed. Nobody calls them out. It's only Black women, but let's just face it, it's a lot of women that have used the system as a crutch, and women, we need to stop acting like we don't know other females who don't do this. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of women getting in their feelings when we talk about women and food stamps, like how you knocking women who need it. You know what I'm saying? Like why are you so male identified and you putting down women who depend on it? Because the truth of the matter is, that's the problem. They have become totally dependent. And we're not going to act like these sisters don't womb hustle, right? We're not going to act like they don't intentionally have children so they can get benefits. Listen, we all know that one. We all know that one, voucher vixen, okay, who uses her womb as a way, as a cash cow. You get what I'm saying? You have females out here who intentionally have children for survival purposes, not because they want a family. Um, they want the benefits of what's given to them in the event they decide to have children. So let's face it, a lot of sisters today, they're not striving to have a family. They're just settling to have children, because the truth of the matter is, the government has made it so easy for a lot of these women to basically um, abandon all their morals just so they can get the income and the benefits. I mean, why would I strive to get a husband? Why would I strive to get a family when the government takes the place of that, right? The government performs like the husband, right? Governmental assistance provides food. Governmental assistance provide housing. They provide everything that women should be seeking for a man to provide. Okay, not so much for her own malicious intent and malicious motives, but in a sense of wanting to build a family versus just having children, wanting to build a legacy. You know what I'm saying? Wanting to have a real purpose in life, not just have children in a sense of being able to capitalize off the system and off the government. But it's not a lot of women, they're not striving for husbands anymore. They're not striving to be married anymore. They know that the government is automatically going to look out for them and not penalize them for their poor choices. They know that. Okay, as soon as these Section 8 sisters get pregnant, they know all they got to do is go to the welfare office, report that they're pregnant, and that's an increase in their food stamps. There's no rebuttal. There's no consequence. There's no cutoff period. And these sisters have been getting away with this for years. Unlike men, on the other hand, let them mess up. Let them impregnate a female. Guess what? They're going after everything he has. They're going after his job, making sure they take income out his check. They are suspending his license. They are confiscating his tags off of his vehicle. Listen, these men will not be spared no grace in a moment they go out here making dusty dick decisions, right? But a lot of these food stamp feminists, on the other hand, they know they could pretty much get away with it. And now they are in for a rude awakening, y'all. The tables have turned. Now let me start off by saying this. I do think stamps are needed. Let me start off by saying this before I go in, okay? because I'm gonna have a bit of Bukisha. She gonna get mad. All right. A lot of these subsidizing sisters, these Section 8 sisters, the Section 8 sorority, they're going to come for me in the comment section. Okay, they're going to be really really angry. A lot of these Section 8 sorority sisters, they don't like when you go against the grain. They want you to be for what they're for. They want you to support what they support, and they want you to support their, Section 8 shenanigans, right? So let me start off by saying this. I do think food stamps is necessary, but I think they're necessary for senior citizens, okay? Being that the elderly, the times we're in with the economy, the fact that many are just surviving off of SSI and fixed income, I do believe senior citizens should be able to get food stamps. I do believe that. I do believe veterans who fought the war and don't have any income, no longer have the means to be able to survive out here and get simple things as shelter, I think veterans should be able to get food stamps. I will also say this. I think military families should be able to get food stamps because they're fighting for our country. And I don't think they get enough of money. They only get paid on the first, twice out the month or whatever. So I really believe all military personnel, regardless of rank or whatever, should be entitled to food stamps, especially the ones who are just starting in and are gradually still, making a low amount of income. At least, military families, especially those who got dependents, and a lot of military people that are taking care of family from home. So I think military should be entitled to food stamps. I also think people who are disabled should be entitled to food stamps. So when it comes to food stamps, yes, they are necessary, but I think they should only be necessary for those individuals. Oh, and the homeless, definitely the homeless, definitely those who do not have stable shelter, especially nowadays. I definitely think the homeless, they, matter of fact, they need to be number one with the food stamps. But who I think should not be qualified, let me tell you who I think should not be qualified. First of all, women that are able-bodied, okay, that are able to work. If you can sit up here and lay down and cock up and have multiple children from multiple men or multiple dusties, that means you are also capable of working on somebody else's job. Okay. I also think that women who have gone over the capacity, I would say after 2 children, yeah, you need to work. Okay, because now you're making this a hobby. This is not a need. You're making this a habit. Okay, one child, okay, you may need a little bit of help, but once you start going on 2, 3, and 4, at this point, it's not a mistake. You are intentionally doing this. Okay. I also don't think if women are already getting housing, why give them food stamps on top of housing? You are already making it easy by them not paying any rent, or either they're paying a low amount of rent. So being that their rent is low, why are you giving them food stamps on top of housing? I'm not understanding that. But basically, and definitely it needs to be a time frame. If it's going to be food stamps, it needs to have an earlier cutoff time, not till these children are 18, 19. Let's face it, the majority of them who know they can get benefits up until the 18, 19, let me tell you what a lot of these chicks are doing. When they know their oldest is about to turn 18, they get pregnant again. Okay, they just keep getting pregnant. That way they get more grace period on getting the food stamps. It's not like food stamps say, well, after your second child or once your child turns 5, these women are allowed to have as many children as they want, and they're allowed to get as many benefits as they want until that child is 18. That's 18 years worth of money that the state and people who work hard, that's what your taxes is paying for. It's paying for women that are able-bodied, who's already getting assistance through Medicaid, through housing. They're already getting benefits, and on top of that, you are compensating for their food. It's just ridiculous. And again, the government has taken the place of men who are supposed to be providers of the household. So what has happened is, I'm gonna be honest with you, food stamps have created a lot of monsters in women. A lot of these Section 8 sorority sisters, government assistance has given them this attitude to where um they don't feel like they have to work. Not only that, um they don't feel like they're supposed to have limitations or restrictions. Anytime you have this conversation about welfare and governmental assistance, it can get really intense and it can get really, really ugly because, again, the government has given these um, entitlement era aunties everything they want. These women have become so accustomed to the system doing for them. They become so accustomed to that $500, $800 hitting their card every month, not having to explain why they still don't have a job, not having to explain, okay, this your third or fourth baby daddy. The government has gotten them so used to not explaining themselves. And this is the reason they become defiant when it's people like me, or you have the the red pill bros. When you have other people that address this and they oppose or against it, it really ruffles these sisters' feathers because they feel like, who are we to have an opinion about when, how, and where they should get stamps when the government has enabled them and created these monsters. And this is the reason why they are on this food stamp rant. Okay, it's been a food stamp stampede, y'all. They've been all over TikTok, they've been all over Facebook, and when I tell you, um, the food stamp feminists are beyond crashing out. They are totally beyond crashing out. They are losing it. And just to give y'all proof, I'm going to show y'all. I put together my own video of all the different rants and raves. And listen, when I say it's women of all colors, who are in their feelings. And let's face it, a lot of the guys, they're milking this because I feel like the reason why so many guys are laughing at the sisters who are going to be losing their benefits come November, I think it's because the government has always held men accountable, but it's never done that with women. And men have never been able, for the most part, unless you prove you're a single father, but for the most part, men never could just go and get stamps. If they did, they had to have some miraculous proof that they're on fixed income and they actually have the child in their possession. Men have to jump through way more hurdles, and I think that's the reason why so many guys are rejoicing and laughing at these sisters, because to them it's like, now y'all get to see what we go through. Now y'all get to see what it's like to to not get assistance, to not get any empathy or sympathy. The tables are turning, y'all. Now these women are going to get a taste of what men been going through for years, right? But let's get into the clip, y'all. Let's do that first, and then we'll get into it. Okay, so let's get this going, y'all.
Just finally got confirmation that food stamps is officially cut for next month.
About 2 months ago, I stopped eating dinner almost every night of the week so that my boyfriend and I could have enough food left over to have lunch the next day. This was before we were about to lose our food stamps. Mind you, we both work.
I don't think that we really realize the depth that this is, the damage that this is going to do. But the women, the mothers, and the families, but the mothers especially, who are going to go without meals so their children don't have to. But I will absolutely be one of those mothers.
But because we have children and because aftercare and before care is too...
Starve us to death. They trying to kill us. They trying to starve us to death. I just got some bad news, y'all. The U.S. just voted against food as a human right in 2025, not 1825, not 1925, in 2025, okay? They out here preaching freedom and democracy while telling the world that basic survival is optional. What the fuck is really going on? That's not right. And you can't call yourself the land of the free if you out here denying people food. Where they do that at? Like, y'all have money for bombs and billionaires and fucking bailouts, but not for basic dignity? I'm not understanding.
Okay, and let me say this, y'all. Doesn't look like girlfriend is starving at all, and I'm gonna politely just say it at that. I don't look like you miss any meals, sisters, but we'll keep it moving.
And who the they think celebrating these motherfucking holidays with no food stamps? I don't know where the we gonna get the food from. Y'all want us to still go out here and be ready to buy a motherfucking feast of food, and y'all done took the fucking food stamps away. How we gonna do that?
The government finna cut off my EBT. How I'm finna feed my 6 kids? They trying to mess with my bag. This is not what my ancestors fought for.
You need to clean that house. That's what you need to be doing. While you worried about food, you need to be cleaning all that mess you got in the background. But let's continue. By the way, hit that like button if you have not already. Thank you.
So y'all remember that time that I got on TikTok telling y'all about the food stamps? Do y'all remember that time I got on here and told y'all about the food stamps? Why the fuck did they turn my food stamps off? And I gotta pay back $35,000. They turned my food stamp off and I gotta pay back $35,000. Now I'm fucking aggravated because how y'all didn't know I was playing on him? Y'all just running with shit. But them motherfuckers really turned my goddamn food stamps off and I have to pay them back $35,000. I don't know where the hell I'm gonna get $35,000 from, but I have to pay them back. So y'all, watch what y'all put on the internet because everything is not for the internet. Now I'm sitting here stuck, hungry as fuck, no food. And I don't got no fucking $35,000, so I don't know where they think I'm about to get that from.
I'm gonna tell you like this right here. If you done got your stamps for this month, or you haven't got them yet, if you done got your stamps, or when you get your stamps for this month, don't go running trying to sell your damn stamps. Don't go running buying all that goddamn junk food, them knickknacks and all that bullshit. Don't be trying to do nothing else other than put some grocery in that refrigerator and some grocery in that deep freezer, because I'm gonna tell y'all what's happening. So that whole rumor talk about no stamps being issued in November is a fact. Nobody in America that's in the EBT or part of the EBT program will receive food stamps in the month of November. Nowhere in the United States, if they have a government SNAP EBT program, wherever you are, they will not be issuing no benefits. Now, this is the crazy thing. I don't know if y'all really believe a lot of the stuff or if y'all reading up on it, but bro, brace yourself because it's not just November. Listen to me, it's not just November. It's not just November. They trying to phase out and get rid of food stamps just like they trying to do the Section 8, the government assisted, anything that's government assisted.
All right, y'all. So there goes the food stamp rant. So I wanted to add a little bit more to this equation as well. I'm not surprised. I think this is really a setup. I think what they're trying to do, I think they're trying to wean off of the food stamps. I think they're trying to get rid of the food stamps indefinitely. At least it's going to be for a while until somebody else takes office and possibly reinstates it. But I think that's what they're trying to do. To be honest, it's been a lot of things going on with food stamps and housing way before it officially got announced that November 1st, there will not be any more stamps coming in because there's been a lot. If you've been kind of paying attention to what's going on, and some of y'all haven't been because you don't get stamps, right? Nevertheless, you know, I hear about these things all the time because I'm in the South. In the South, we have a large majority of single mothers. If you don't know any personally, you know of them, you know, because it's just known that the majority of women are dependent on the system, especially these single moms, right? So what's been going on if you've been hiding up under a rock? It's been issues like at one point in time, they tried to claim there was a glitch in the system. A lot of single mothers went for weeks because there was a glitch. Then there was another time they wasn't receiving stamps because they said that there was funds being stolen, and that is the reason they were not able to compensate these welfare recipients from being able to obtain a EPT. They've been basically coming up with all kind of things to deny for people to kind of um start losing their benefits. They've been pulling some strings here and there, you know. People calling, reporting, I haven't got my stamps this month. And they'll lie and tell them, oh, we just got a backup caseload. What I'm basically saying, y'all, they've been trying to wean these sisters off of the stamps, okay? And a lot of them wasn't woke and paying attention to what's going on. Out the blue, they just been cutting people off, coming up with stuff, giving people letters. We find out you're not working, or, there's a glitch in the system. They already was pulling everybody's cards slowly but surely when it came to receiving these benefits. They was already pulling stuff, not only with the food stamps, even with Section A. They haven't been providing these sisters with vouchers. They stopped paying the landlords their percentage, so they will put it on the landlords to have to do the dirty work to evict the welfare, the Section A tenants, because if a landlord is not getting his cut from Section A, 9 times out of 10, the Section A recipient is not going to be able to compensate the portion that the government always has. So what does that leave the landlord to do? Well, he has to evict her, okay? And she really can't book and say that it's unfair, because if he's not receiving government assistance in order for her to live in his residence, then he has a right to go ahead and evict her, because that rent has to be paid. So if Section 8 is paying a landlord $800, you know what I mean, in the rent, I'm just hypothetically speaking, I'm sure it's more than that now. Let's say the rent is $900 and the government is paying the landlord $800. That means all the Section 8 tenant has to do is pay $100. That's just $900. Well, if the government decides to stop giving him that $800, then that would mean now she no longer is entitled to just paying $100. She has to pay $800, which 9 times out of 10 she can't afford it. Okay, that's the reason she got Section 8 to begin with. Or let's say she can afford it, but she has become accustomed to the government paying a majority of her rent. So in many instances, it's not that these women can't afford it. It's just that they have become so comfortable to and complacent to the system, taking care of the majority of the load. Now, keep in mind, you got some women out here who work raw, straight up. They don't get no government assistance. They don't get no housing. They paying everything raw out the pocket. It's not going to affect them because they're used to working. They're used to carrying all the load. But it's the struggling sorority sister. It's the Section 8 sorority. They're the ones that are going to have a more harder time with this, because they're not used to working. They're not used to having to put in more of the initiative to pay their rent, to pay their utilities. They're used to getting these vouchers. They're used to getting this assistance. So they're going to have a harder time. It's kind of like if you're used to giving a baby sweets and junk food, and now, the doctor says, hey, they can no longer eat these sweets or junk food because it's affecting their teeth, affecting their health. Now you got to wean that baby off of popsicles and ice cream, and you have to start giving them broccoli and vegetables. And of course, that child is going to throw tantrums. They're going to rebel, they're going to be resistant to eating those vegetables if they've been accustomed to eating sugar, eating unhealthy food. They're going to have a harder time adjusting compared to a child that's used to eating vegetables, that's used to eating fruit. A child that's used to eating healthy, they're not going to have a hissy fit or throw tantrums because they can't get a bag of Cheetos. They're used to healthy habits. The problem is the welfare system has created entitled queens. So this is the reason of the food stamp rants. This is the reason why you have the voucher vixens, ranting and raving. You have these assistance addicts who then become addicted to getting a check, and now they are allergic to having to work, you know what I mean, and having to fend for themselves, So we have these comfort check collectors that have become very, very comfortable and codependent with depending on the system. And they are rebelling. They're going so far as to, and this has been going on. They're going on Facebook, on social media sites, which is very dumb, talking about how they're going, if they got to steal, if they got to steal out of Walmart, whatever they got to do. You know, I'm like, all of this just to simply avoid doing something you should have been doing as a grown-ass woman, which is working and taking care of your family. So you've had some that's have become so bold and even stating that they're gonna, steal, you know what I mean, to put groceries in their house. It's done got real, y'all. These food stamps are stopping come November. And what's gonna end up happening is, you're gonna have a lot of these dependent divas. Come December, they think the government is going to let up and get them a break after November and give them back their stamps, only to find out, watch Trump, watch the government, watch they come up with a new plan come November. No, we still going to have to postpone. They're going to drag them forever and a day with these stamps. So, for these dependent divas, that have become accustomed to the system, they are in for a rude awakening. And the only thing about this is, and I meant to mention this earlier too, I think families who work should be able to get food stamps. If that husband works and that wife works and they have children, I think working couples should be able to get stamps. I think that too, because if they're working legitimately and paying their bills and they got children, I think working families should be able to get food stamps. So I just kind of want to mention that too, or whatever, because you got families out here who do work and need the stamps, but see, they are working, and that's the difference, right? So anyway, I digress. But what's going to happen, y'all? From welfare check to reality check, a lot of these sisters going to get a reality check. Not only are they messing, or are they not going to be getting their stamps, as I stated, they are tampering with Section 8 housing. That's another big problem. I'm starting to notice too. I don't know if y'all may be experiencing this in some of the counties or the cities in which y'all live in. They're getting rid of, they're abolishing a lot of these project houses. They are tearing down these areas in which low income housing are the projects, and they're getting rid of it. They are demolishing these buildings. I think it's called gentrification or something like that. If I said it wrong, just correct me in the comment section or whatever. In which they are trying to weed out all of the poverty and start replacing it with buildings in which people can only live there who can afford nice luxury housing. Slowly but surely, if you notice, you visit some of these ghettos, they're getting rid of a lot of these subsidizing housing. They're getting rid of a lot of these projects. They're getting rid of a lot of low income. Or what they're doing, if they do have the low income, they're remodeling them. And what they're doing is they're definitely placing stricter policies and stricter rules. The stuff they used to be able to do in housing, like sell drugs, have men come and go, and all kind of crime. Them areas are usually crime ridden. They cracking down on a lot of that stuff. Once they start replacing these poverty, stricken neighborhoods, and they replace them with more nicer, elegant, up-to-date housing, they start tightening up on the rules. And not only that, the requirements are more stricter now. So it's not like applying for public housing. You know what I mean? It's just way more rules, and it's way more politics and stuff involved. You know what I'm saying? So nevertheless, they are ridding anything that low income recipients are dependent on, anything that's government assistance related. They're trying to rid all of these things. Okay. Like I said, they're weaning out the stamps, they're weaning out the governmental housing and the Section 8, which means sisters who don't live in the projects, but who can live in nice houses and nicer areas, and the government just fronts a large percentage. A lot of these landlords aren't taking Section 8 recipients anymore. And the ones who are there, they're getting ready to get rid of them. Another thing is these child care assistant programs. A lot of these sisters in the struggle, they're not going to have anybody to watch their kids for free. Okay. Believe it or not, just like Section 8, you get vouchers. Single mothers who are getting child care assistance, the government was supplying them with the majority of the funds so they can drop their kids off for free at a child care center and still go home and not work. They are getting rid of that. It's a lot of women, and it's happening where I live. They get rid of child care assistance. You're going to have to pay raw out the pocket. And let me tell you something. Child care assistance is expensive, especially if you have a newborn. It can be from anywhere to $200 a week for a newborn. 3 and up, it can be anywhere from 6 to 7. You know, it's expensive. Okay, so these dependent divas, the comfort check collectors, they are going to be on a tyrant tantrum like no other. It's going to be a lot. You think we got a lot of black women that are angry? Listen, the population of angry black women is about to triple now that these stamps ain't coming. And it could have been at a worse time, because around Thanksgiving, this is the time when you ball out. You know what I mean? This is when all the families get together with them stamps. You know, you can buy extra, you can get them sweet potato pies, you can buy that turkey, you know what I mean? You can, that cornbread, you know, everybody likes to go out. This is how strategic the government is. The government knows everyone looks to at least be able to get food for their families on the holidays. And the irony of them shutting it down come November during Thanksgiving, then right after that, there's Christmas. Y'all know good damn well they is not going to let up come December and say, okay, we're going to give y'all back y'all stamps for November and reinstate your stamps for December. That is not going to happen. If it does happen, it's a long shot. You know what I mean? And it's just a harsh reality check that you can never get too comfortable. You know what I mean? But what I hope it does is that I hope it makes sisters reevaluate their decisions. Stop letting these dudes raw dog you just so you can get a check. You know what I'm saying? Stop avoiding the working because you feel like the moment you work, they're going to cut your stamps. Believe it or not, that's why a lot of these dependent divas, they won't work because they know if they work, it's going to jeopardize their stamps. You know, they could lose their stamps once they get a job. Because I never forget, I knew this one particular female. She had 3 kids and she was getting stamps. Every so many months, they give you a raise, you know, when you've been with the company for a long time. And this chick intentionally, now I will say that she did work, unlike other female single mothers who didn't work. She did work, but the irony was every time they tried to give her a raise, she would not take it. Because she knew the moment she was to accept a raise, it was going to mess with a stamp. So I think the irony of all of this is not for many, but I think some sisters are going to reevaluate their decisions from here on out. They're going to be more selective about who they allow to penetrate and raw dog them. Because if you get knocked up from a poverty pookie, you can't run down there to the welfare office and get stamps. You've had women, females, you know what I'm saying, these subsidy sisters who have been pimping pockets for profit through their wombs. You know what I mean? That's how they survive. They intentionally have children from anybody that'll give them one, because in their mind, whether if this man wants to help me take care of these kids or not, I know I got Uncle Sam that's going to step in and do it. I got my government godfather. Oh, that's a good word, y'all. Hey, if y'all going to use that, make sure y'all hashtag and say y'all got it from Mocha. The government godfather who they have become codependent on. That is the reason why they never think twice about their choices. They don't care about who raw dogs them. They don't care about If I get pregnant again, I got to work an extra job, because the government godfather has always supplied their needs, has always stepped in for their dusty decisions, you know. So now that the government godfather is getting ready to tighten up and say, hey, I looked out for you for many, many years. I provided you housing. I provided you stamps. I provided you child care assistance, not for you to work, just for you to stay home and be on your iPhone and go get your hair and your nails done. That is the thing, you know, when you become codependent on anything, I don't care what it is, unless it's a job. You, any given moment, you give that very thing that you depend on, you give it power, which means they could pull a rug from up under your foot anytime they want and be like, no, I'm cutting you off. I'm not supplying you anymore. And that what has happened, y'all. A lot of these sisters are going to get a rude awakening, because now they see it has arrived. They are getting letters in the mailbox, y'all. This is not a joke. This is not for clout. For those of y'all who think us content creators were just making things up to make it sound interesting. No, this is real. They're not playing. There's no stamps coming November, okay? So if you did get any stamps from last month, they're not going to take those off of your card, but they're not going to add any more new stamps. And I believe they're trying to totally abolish governmental assistance. But if you're a real woman, you're a real mother, listen, you're going to make it happen. Okay, if you got the, you know, bag groceries, if you got the DoorDash, a real woman is going to make it happen. Those who are not on their grown women, those are the ones who are whining. Those are the ones who are crying. Those are the ones who are threatening to steal out of Walmart and all of that. Real women are going to make it happen. Listen, y'all may have to cut back on how y'all used to shopping. You know what I mean? All the Oreos, the Chips Ahoy, the popsicle sticks, you know, the Doritos chips. Y'all gonna have to start cooking some real meals to make it stretch. Make them kids spaghetti. You know what I mean? Make them kids baked chicken. Make them hamburgers. Y'all gonna have to start improvising. These food stamp feminists are going to have to use their minds, use their brains in ways in which they never had to really think on shit. They was just able to pretty much do what they want to do because they know that their government godfather was going to always supply. But nevertheless, y'all, leave y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think about this. What do y'all think about these food stamp feminists? What's y'all opinion on these assistance avengers fighting hard for benefits but not for betterment? You know, guarantee you, some of them may be motivated to get a job, but the majority of them, they're not going to get no job. But they're playing Russian roulette. But if they don't do something, it's their kids that's going to be suffering. Or if you can't afford to feed your kids, give them to their dad. Okay, and y'all better hope sooner or later they don't mess with child support, because they're probably going to start gunning for that next. They're probably going to have it to where these women got to put in just as much as these men do. So, hey, listen, don't underestimate the government. Y'all ain't thought y'all was going to lose these EPT benefits. So don't underestimate and don't think it won't come to that. They probably going to start messing with y'all about the child support. That's probably next coming down the line. So I would tell all the struggling Section 8 sorority sisters, get on your grind, come up with a plan, because your government godfather is shutting down the operation, y'all. Please hit that like button for me before y'all leave. And again, thank y'all for hanging out with me at Cafe de Paris Renaissance, new, improved, and renewed channel in which I got some more interesting topics that affect our culture that I'm going to be discussing with each and every one of you. So again, love all of you so much. And again, ladies, if you rather congregate in a women's space, subscribe to my second channel, Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Love y'all. Take care. Be blessed.